Hi there. Today we are going to comparatively assess the differences between parliamentary and presidential government. Then we are going to evaluate the differences between the executive and legislature. To begin with, we have the fusion and separation of powers. First of all, the fusion of powers. You have the executive and the legislature. Together this forms government ministers. And then you have judiciary and legislature. Together you have law lords, which are formed by these two. But with executive and judiciary, there is no link because otherwise there would be too much power given to government. For the separation of powers,
you have the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative completely not linked. That is to prevent any concentration of power, which is very bad.
Now, on how the government is formed through parliamentary election. Party strength in Commons, it forms governments, and this happens in parliamentary governments, but in presidential governments, I believe
the government is separately elected. You elect Congress, and they have a degree of independence from presidency, which is elected completely separately. Harry, tell me about the Prime Minister in Parliament.
Well, the personnel, you have an overlap, but you have Prime Minister in Parliament, and then in Congress you have...
So in a presidential system, you do not want concentration of power, so the President is not in Congress. Again, that makes Congress stronger, and a much stronger force than British Parliament, because it is not interacted by the executive. They are completely separate. Harry,
correct.
Tell me about the Constitution and its effect on the Prime Minister in the UK.
Well, Constitution allows government to be renewed by the legislature, and this is because you have the overlap of powers.
That's stupid.
Yes, it is. But
in the US,
there
is no intervention between powers. Congress cannot remove the president except occasionally by impeaching, but that is extremely rare.
Correct.
Now tell me about elections in a parliamentary government.
Well, currently in a parliamentary government you have flexible elections. It can be called within a 5-year period, but it must be called by then. But in future, there's a new policy where there are elections, fixed term elections every 5 years, much like the US version.
That's right. In the US, presidential elections, we have a democratic 4-year fixed election, which is much better than a flexible election, which can be called any time by the Prime Minister. Tell me about cabinet.
Okay, in a parliamentary government, cabinet is formed by the day's governing body, so the party with the majority, and then positions within the cabinet are chosen by the current day PM. So in this case, David Cameron would decide on those positions. And then in presidential, you have...
Obama is the president, and he has extreme control. That's just the way it is.
Oh yes, hallelujah. Now, you have the head of state in government. In the UK and parliamentary, you have head of state separate from the head of government.
Who's the head of state?
That would be the Prime Minister.
And who's the head of country?
That would be the...
No, wait. The head of government is the Prime Minister. The head of state is the Queen.
Oh yeah, the Queen, right, man.
Whereas in the USA, they're the same person, Mr. Obama. Thank you for watching.
Pa, get out of the car.